A lot of owners feel like their pet's health is simply out of their hands and just put their trust in luck that nothing serious is going to come along that will affect their pet. But the reality is, this approach compromises your pet's health and ends up costing an awful lot more money.
Welcome to Call the Vet, the show that answers all your dog and cat questions so they can live healthier, happier lives. And here's your host, veterinarian Dr. Alex Avery.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alex. Welcome to episode number 62 of the Call the Vet show. And today's episode is a little bit different. I want to talk to you about my thought process over the last few years and what the end result has been, which is going to be the academy, which I teased at last week. But you know, the fact is that since I graduated from vet school in 2006, it's just become increasingly more and more clear to me that the most common diseases and injuries that I see in my patients are almost completely preventable. They really are almost completely preventable. So the biggest causes of poor health and a reduction of quality of life in both dogs and cats, they're obesity, dental disease and arthritis. So those are the big three, and you've heard me talk about those over the last previous few weeks or so. But, you know, as well as impacting your pet's health, their well-being, being overweight alone is said to cost a dog owner over $2,000 every year and a cat owner over $1,000. Now, I was a bit shocked as well when I heard those figures, but thinking about it, it does make sense. Those are all the extra costs that come from, feeding your dog or your cat a little bit more than they should be, but also the health implications. So the arthritis, the diabetes, the skin disease, the general poor body health, they really do add up to a significant amount. And imagine if you could actually keep that money in your wallet rather than spending it down at the vet clinic. So these really are diseases that you have the power to prevent, or at least significantly reduce their impact on your pet's life, significantly reduce the risk of them happening in the first place, and actually by being proactive, reducing the impact, and so reducing some of those costs, even if they do come along. So, you know, even better, taking the right action, it doesn't actually take a lot of resources, or it doesn't cost a lot of money. It does take a targeted, conscious effort though. But I know, you're listening to this podcast. I know that being a part of the our Pets Health community, that, you are willing to take action. If you weren't willing to take action, you wouldn't be listening to me now. And that's really why I built the Our Pets Health Academy. It's to remove luck from the equation when it comes to ensuring that your pet is living their best life possible. It's going to provide clear, actionable steps that really will impact your pet's daily life, because I do believe it's within every owner's reach, and that includes you, to take the right steps to optimize your pet's health, to ensure that your pet is living their best life and to improve their happiness. Also to understand how to prevent or reduce the risks of the most common injuries and diseases and avoid wasting money on useless accessories and supplements. And this last one's a big one because, there's so many things online, on Amazon, on different forums. There's so many gimmicks and accessories that really are a complete waste of time. They've got no proven benefit, and ultimately you end up wasting money, which could be better spent on further optimizing your pet's health, or on providing a different form of more useful intervention or supplements or whatever it is. So it's really important that that you take a concerted, conscientious effort. And I know, I do know that it quickly gets confusing and overwhelming when you have to research the best way to be proactive about your pet's health. It's easy to become overwhelmed about all the different information, all the conflicting advice that you receive that gets bombarded at you from every angle. And that's why becoming an Academy member will let me guide you. It will help me answer your questions specifically, your specific questions. It will help give you a clear action plan to follow, and also gain the support of a community full of pet lovers just like you. And community is really, really important, especially if there is something going on with your pet's health. Things are stressed, emotions are running high. Having support of people who understand your situation, understand your emotions and how you're feeling, and the importance that your pet has in your life is really important. Now, you might be thinking it's just those big three, the obesity, the arthritis, the dental problems that I'm talking about, because they're the ones that I repeat regularly. The reality is there's so many more conditions. I just repeat those because they are going to apply to pretty much every individual animal in one way or the other. But there are other diseases that I see all too regularly, pretty much on a daily basis, that kind of fall into that same potentially preventable category. So behavioural problems, infectious diseases, parasite infestations, the kind of decision to spay or neuter, what diet to feed, skin allergies, weight loss problems. The list goes on and on, but they're all conditions where you can take a few relatively simple steps. It doesn't involve running to the vet for every single problem. If you leave them, if you ignore them and they get worse, then yes, you are definitely going to need your vet's input to get your pet back to a healthier and a happier state. But the reality is, if you're aware of all of these problems in the first case, then you can really nip them in the bud if they do happen, or you can take steps to make sure that they're not. So, I know that, like most dedicated pet owners that I know and that I interact with on a daily basis in the veterinary hospital, I know that you want to give your pet the most loving, happy, full and long life. And the difference that a few targeted steps that you can take as a pet owner really can make all the difference in achieving these goals. So today, I'm really excited to be sharing with you how our Pets Health Academy could help add years to your pet's life. It could reduce the chance of developing these most common threats to their health and just ensure that they're living their best life possible. So the way that the Academy can help is through a range of targeted courses. So the list of courses that's available is rapidly growing. There's multiple that are complete already. They've gone through the beta tests, the beta group, and had fantastic reviews and fantastic feedback. But I've got a long list of courses that I'm either already working on or planning to release in the next few months. It's also got a comprehensive resource library. So this is checklists, condition guides, ebooks, calculators, again, all designed to give you actionable information. I do a monthly live training session on key topics, really important topics, to kind of deep dive into those, also with Q&A. So to answer any of your questions, not just about that topic, but about anything at all to do with your pet's health. There's also an exclusive member-only forum to share your experiences with other dedicated dog and cat lovers. So, you might think, well, that all sounds very well and good, but that sounds a little bit complicated. You've actually got nothing to worry about. So I've tried to make it as simple as possible. And actually the feedback I've had from the beta students is that everything is either very intuitive or that the welcome walkthrough is really good and helps you get to know the whole academy in just a few minutes. So that's 2 pieces of feedback just about ease of use. I also know that other people, they're concerned about the time commitment that all of these resources and the resulting action will take. But again, I know all too well just how little time there is in the day and how busy we all are. And the last thing I want to do is actually to produce courses that no one has time to complete. No one actually takes any action and they're a waste of people's time and money. I'm not interested in that. But that's why I've taken care to split each course into bite-sized lessons full of actionable information rather than useless padding. So I haven't increase the word count or the time it will take you to complete a course just to make it seem like it's bigger and better value, because actually by doing that it loses value and it loses how well it can help you. So also each downloadable resources really helps you in a simple yet highly effective way, and each video training session can also be downloaded to listen to while you're doing other things. So just like a podcast, if you're in the car, if you're doing the ironing or washing up, whatever it is that you're doing, you can actually kind of consume that information as well without taking extra time out of your day. And there's also, simply no need to implement everything at once. No single lesson is going to take you more than 10 minutes, and slowly taking action, building up over several months, will achieve the same health optimization results. And you can actually take your time and make sure you're implementing each step properly and appropriately, and thinking how you can fit it into your lifestyle and your pet's lifestyle and the way, their personality as well. So, I'd really love to be able to share my years of experience as a vet with you in the most effective way possible. Now, then again, I know you might still be skeptical about the ability that you have to keep your pet healthy, to optimize their happiness. And I see this every week in the veterinary hospital as well, which is unfortunately why all too often I have to deal with heartbreaking situations. And examples of those are patients of mine. It could be the overweight Labrador who's crippled with arthritis and was only ever kind of given the occasional supplement because the owner was simply really worried about giving her painkillers and the side effects that they could potentially cause, which we're not going to say there's no risk, but the result was this particular Labrador, it was euthanized at 10 years of age because she couldn't walk. Now, would it not have been better to think about those risks of the painkillers, to understand them, and to actually implement a proper pain control strategy so that she could have lived an awful lot longer? A tragic case would be a litter of spaniel puppies who all died from parvovirus. They slowly came down with it over kind of one at a time over the course of about 5 days to a week, and we lost the entire litter despite spending an awful lot of nurse hours and vet hours trying to bring these puppies through. The 11-year-old pug who needed emergency surgery for her pyometra, which her owner could barely afford. I've seen multiple cats who live with permanent nasal infection because of cat flu, because they weren't vaccinated appropriately while they were young. The Pomeranian who died after slug bait, the 3-year-old terrier who was euthanized because of severe aggression because she was never socialized, the fat cat who developed diabetes and still needs treatment to this day. Actually, he's been doing very, very well after being on insulin treatment twice a day for 2 years. But wouldn't it have been better if we could have prevented all of those problems? So don't let these tragic cases be your pet's future. Taking the time to invest in their health, it really does make a world of difference when it comes to them living a healthy, happy and full life. So I'd love for you to join me over in the Academy. If you want more information about it, if you want to look at all the details, if you want to become a member, I'd love to see you on the inside. But the links are all in the show notes, or you can just simply go to ourpetshealth.com/academy and you'll get taken to all that information. Also, if you've got any questions, then you could always get in touch and I'll respond to you personally. But anyway, that's it for this episode of the podcast. It's a little bit different. I know it's not something that I've done before, and this is not, going through a launch and that kind of thing is not something that I've ever done before. So we'll be back to normal tomorrow, so don't think that this is becoming the norm, but I just didn't want you to miss out on this opportunity because there's some really fantastic launch specials which will be going away at the end of this week. So if you're interested, if you want to learn more, make sure you head over to ourpetshealth.com/academy in the next couple of days before everything shuts down and before all those opening offers go away. But until next time, I'm Dr. Alex. This is the Call the Vet podcast, and I'll be back next week answering another one of your questions. Take care.
You've been listening to Call the Vet. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode of the show that answers all of your pet questions.